Hey cutie! Today we're going to be chatting everything adrenal fatigue. Something I hear from so many of my clients when I first start working with them is how they wake up feeling exhausted, and if it wasn't for coffee, they wouldn't be able to get throughout the day. They get hungry, they have major cravings for salty or sugary foods, they're super irritable, they have trouble losing weight, even though they're trying so hard with their exercise and eating well, and their libido is basically non-existent. Does this sound similar to you? You might have energy crashes in the afternoon, a second wind at bedtime, and you just wake up a lot throughout the night. What makes me so sad about this every time is that so many people think this is normal. This is just the way that people feel. Everyone seems to feel the same way. So what can I do about it? It's just status quo. But just because something is common doesn't make it normal. I always say that in relation to bloating too, not normal. And feeling this constant exhaustion is not normal. It's one of the main symptoms of adrenal fatigue. I'm going to talk you through some tips and tricks if you feel like this is you, and also a 90-day nutrition plan. First, I would definitely link with your doctor to get these specific diagnostic labs. That's because symptoms of adrenal fatigue is so non-specific. It could be depression, it could be sleep apnea, it could be an autoimmune disease. It can be hard for doctors to make a medical diagnosis without some labs. But as I always say, how you feel is more important than test results. But it is good to get a baseline of what's going on in the body, because that is really the first step to beating your adrenal fatigue. So of course, conventional blood labs, but I always recommend to my clients to ask for adrenal labs. So a cortisol saliva test. You spit into a vial throughout the day, several different vials, and it gives your doctor information around how your brain and adrenals are functioning together. I've had these done before in the past, and I learned that I had an adrenal dysfunction, HPA, but I wouldn't have known otherwise, and doctors may have dismissed me with other conditions. Also, as I always talk about your microbiome, you can get microbiome labs. This is your big community of gut bugs, and I truly believe that gut health is the foundation of total body health, especially brain and hormones, which is what's going on here. And if you have an underlying gut problem like leaky gut syndrome, candida, SIBO, it could actually stop you from being able to recover from adrenal fatigue. And the last one is methylation labs. So methylation is a collection of biochemical actions that happen in your body 1 billion times every second. And healthy methylation helps with healthy brain, healthy gut, healthy hormones, and also helping your detox pathways too. But some of us are born with genetic mutations that then impair the methylation process. So regardless of what we're doing, it's not working the way it's supposed to. So this might mean that you are less able to absorb some essential vitamins, and it's important for you to know whether that's you or not, because then you can supplement to make up for nutritional deficiencies and make sure you're hitting your body from both angles. Step number 2 then would be to seriously look at your stress management. I think it goes without saying that a huge part of adrenal fatigue is chronic stress. And so it's important to pinpoint where you are feeling stress in your life, whether it's from a food intolerance, whether it's from toxin exposure, whether it's from work commitments, whether it's from family troubles. Of course, we need a little bit of stress in our lives that actually keeps us healthy. But if we are chronically stressed without periods of rest, if we are not taking that time to restore, then you are just stuck in this chronic stress cycle, and you won't be able to calm your adrenals and feel that nice zenness. The third thing I always share as well, which you should know, is to reduce inflammation. So getting antioxidants into your diet, especially turmeric, it's got a great mood enhancing boost to it too, and it's got so many benefits for your brain. And depression can often occur with adrenal fatigue, so including antioxidants like turmeric can help to combat those symptoms. Of course, we want to also get on those proteins, really nutrient dense ones. So oysters have tons of zinc in them. Zinc and copper actually help with your neurotransmitter function and helping you to adapt to stress. And also zinc deficiency has been super closely linked to anxiety, stress, depression, and other mood disorders. So getting extra superfoods into your diet like oysters is a great way to get a balance where you're easing your stress levels and you are also feeding your body the nutrients that it needs. So a lot of us don't have good enough protein, or we're not having enough. So it should be about the size and thickness of your palm, and we want to, wherever possible, get in protein that is grass-fed, that is wild-caught, that is antibiotic-free, that is organic. And if we are on a plant-based diet, we want to make sure that we're getting as much different varieties of protein as possible, because there are some vegan protein options that can actually stop the absorption process. So making sure we have a huge diversity no matter what diet we're on. And of course, I couldn't not mention greens. You know how much I love greens. They're so good for our hormones. Leafy greens like Swiss chard, spinach, they're rich in magnesium, which helps to regulate and also optimize communication in your brain adrenal axes, which is what we want. Things like asparagus, sulfur rich. It's got so much B vitamin folate in, and low levels of folate have been linked to neurotransmitter impairment, which then leads to brain hormonal problems like adrenal fatigue. Another one is eating healthy fats every day. Can I not mention avocados? I'm so sad because my body actually doesn't tolerate avocados, but I wish they did. They've got so many B vitamins, monounsaturated fats that boost neurotransmitter production and your brain health. It's got potassium, which naturally helps to lower your blood pressure as well. Avocados are just such a good all-rounder, and incorporating some nuts and seeds in there as well, like walnuts are so good for your brain health. So many great fatty omega-3s that we want in there. Of course, a cod liver oil supplement is fab to incorporate too. I'm just sad thinking about how I can't eat avocados now. And coconut oil, super versatile. You can cook with it, you can eat it off a spoon, you can put it in smoothies, you can bake with it. It's got good fats in that help with brain function. And of course, like we just said, wild caught fish, salmon, the dream, mackerel, sardines help to decrease inflammation, which is really, really important when it comes to your brain and hormonal health. Now, on the vein of reducing stress and our stress management, I couldn't not recommend and speak about breath work. You breathe all day long, but doing it consciously and with intention is amazing for putting us into that parasympathetic nervous system, reducing our stress response, and just helping to relieve that anxiety and tension that can build up through the day. When you become aware of your breath, you reboot the brain adrenal axes. So meditation or breath work, whatever works for you. I love both, but breath work is my bae. So it's just, you get the benefits from meditation, but in a much shorter time. And of course, mindfulness techniques like exposing your eyes to daylight first thing in the morning, not your phone, doing journaling, doing lymphatic massage, self-acupressure, facial reflexology, dry brushing, hot cold therapy, whatever helps you to get into that place of zen and calm, do more of that. And you also need to be getting enough sleep. So promoting the quality of your sleep and improving your sleep hygiene. So no screens a couple of hours before bed, legs up the wall to reduce inflammation, read a book instead, wear blue light blocking glasses through the day. You could take some CBD oil, anything that gets you in that zone. And then in the daytime, something that also helps to improve your sleep is getting outside in nature, getting sunlight or at least daylight on the skin and your eyes is amazing for your adrenals and your gut microbiome. The sun has so many health boosting influences. Of course, practice safe sun exposure, but if you can, practice grounding. This is where you walk barefoot outside, grass, stones, wherever you can. I mean, mud if you really want to, but wherever you can get that skin on earth connection. It's been proven if you do this 7 times a day that it actually lowers your cortisol levels, and it's super simple. You could even habit stack and do it while you are meditating or journaling, and you'll also be getting a good boost of vitamin D, which is really important because your body actually manufactures vitamin D when it senses the sun on your skin, and it's responsible for regulating over 200 genetic pathways. So you want your levels to be high enough. If you think you're not getting enough sun, if you live in a cold climate, then definitely look at supplements. I personally supplement vitamin D3. I live in Yorkshire, so enough said there. And also, don't be afraid to get really firm on setting your boundaries and saying no. This is a huge part of managing stress. Your health comes first, before anything, before anyone. Even if you're a mom, whether you're a boss, whether you're a good friend, if you're not filling your cup up first and you're not putting your health first, then you're not showing up for those that you love and care and respect about as the best version of you. So I really do think your health has to become above all else, and then you'll be able to show up in other areas of your life in just a better, more functional way. And I would definitely recommend looking into functional medicine and working with a qualified practitioner who can assess your condition and replace small portions of the levels of adrenal hormones that you're missing for a short period of time, because you don't really want to do this on your own. You want to make sure that you're doing it properly. So they might want to give you DHEA. This is the precursor to cortisol. It can help your body to begin producing it naturally, but you definitely need professional guidance to determine how often, how much, how long for. And you know, just because you have adrenal fatigue, you could actually have low cortisol levels, not high. The symptoms are super interlinked. So working with a qualified professional who can help you figure it out is definitely worth the money, I promise you. So let's get into what I ate for 90 days to reset my adrenal fatigue. At least 4 to 6 cups of vegetables per day. I was super intentional about my diet being 80% plants, nutrient-dense vegetables for my hormone production, for my methylation, both super essential for brain and hormone health. And of course, we know veggies contain so many crucial nutrients to support health. So I focused on things like iodine, which is good for your thyroid hormone production. I do have hypothyroidism that I've put into remission, as well as sulfur, B vitamins, vitamin C and vitamin E, all super necessary for healthy hormone production and vigorous detox pathways. So you might want to go into sea vegetables like kelp, You might want to go into green leafy vegetables like watercress, Swiss chard, spinach, sulfur-rich veggies like onions, garlic, asparagus. So 4 to 6 cups a day. Make veggies the main star of your plate, or at least plants the main star of your plate, instead of having them as a side dish, an afterthought, or not at all. And then 2 servings of whole grains or starches a day. It's totally up to you if you go gluten-free or not. Not everyone needs to. The majority actually don't, but it can help if you're intolerant to it, or if it's causing blood sugar issues, feeding the wrong gut bacteria that's then contributing to your digestive issues. So I focused on small amounts of starches that I knew were safe for me in this process, that were boosting my energy, were feeding the good gut bacteria, that were supporting my thyroid without causing me any blood sugar issues or digestive problems. So yams, sweet potato, plantain, that kind of thing. I am a massive fan of fruit, so I always have tons anyway, but at least 4 handfuls a day. I actually chose to focus on low fructose fruits because you don't have all of the excess sugar, even though it isn't bad sugar, that's a myth. But sometimes too much of that can't be good in your system when you're trying to relax. So berries and citrus fruits, things like that. 1 to 2 palm sizes of protein every meal. And I also chose to cook with extra virgin olive oil and other clean oils. And the protein I tended to focus on was like wild caught fish, shellfish like oysters, and pasture raised eggs. I had between 1 to 2 handfuls of nuts a day, especially Brazil nuts, because they've got selenium in them. Actually 2 Brazil nuts is your selenium dose of the day. It's crazy. I also had walnuts, almonds, macadamia nuts. I'm a massive nut and seed fanatic and fan. I think them alone can change your hormonal health. I also had between 3 to 5 herbal teas a day, calming herbal teas that didn't have any adrenal aggravating caffeine. So chamomile, African red bush, peppermint, rose tea. I make a lot of my own tea blends, so let me know if you want me to share my adrenal lowering one. It's amazing. And of course, I did implement some supplements. I like to think of supplements as, you know, you kind of see how you're feeling that day, that week, and then you pick the ones then. I'm very like a kid in a candy shop with supplements. Obviously when I'm on a routine like this, I'm a lot more regimented, but in general it's nice to get to that loose place. I had maca, which is awesome for your hormones, especially if you're menopausal or have low estrogen. I also had B vitamin and folate. They were combined, especially I wanted B12 because it helps to balance the melatonin cortisol rhythm. Like I said earlier, I had vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, because it's a pre-hormone that we need for healthy hormone function. I also had ashwagandha, which is an adaptogenic herb. You could also have ginseng or holy basil. These have a regulating effect on cortisol rhythm, and you want to switch these out every 6 weeks. I also had magnesium. It helps to support your adrenal glands. It relaxes stressed nerves. It's great for your nervous system, for tight muscles, and it also promotes high quality sleep. So I had magnesium citrate because I tend to run a little IBSD if I'm not taking care of myself. But if you have constipation, then you might want to try a different type. And I also looked for herbs like passion flower, amino acids, things that were going to calm my neurotransmitter and also boost GABA production. This is helping to calm the pathways in my brain. That was a lot of information. So let me give you what a typical day of meals looked like for me. And you're like scribbling, making notes. So for breakfast, I would have sweet potato toast with some spinach, onions, maybe some tomatoes in there, would have been cooked in extra virgin olive oil. I would have had some nuts and seeds sprinkled on there too, like sunflower seeds, walnuts. For lunch, it might have been a salmon salad with olive oil dressing, tons of leafy greens, kale, broccoli, maybe even some asparagus on there. And then for dinner, I would have, sorry, someone just drove past. For dinner, I would have like a nice plant-based pasta with tons of veggies in and some tofu as well. This has been a long video, I'm so sorry. I wanted to give you all of the information. You want to make sure that you are eating enough throughout the day. So pay attention to your hunger levels. If you get ravenous, if you feel like you're getting sugar cravings, if you feel hungry, that might mean you're not eating enough fat in the morning, and healthy fat and proteins. And also, you want to be making sure that you're giving your body, especially while you're supporting it in this process, a snack in the mid-morning and a snack in the mid-afternoon. Some nuts, some apple with peanut butter on, some roasted veggies. And this will really help your body to not only reset, but to get back into a natural rhythm and to be making all of the nutrients it needs to support your adrenals. And of course, as we said earlier, just making sure that we get enough sleep and that we're practicing calming exercises, that we're doing our breath work, and that the workouts that we're doing as well are stress reducing. So not workouts that are going to actually raise your cortisol that are really high impact, like running or HIIT. Things like Pilates, hot yoga, resistance training, walks, that kind of thing. And putting some little moments of calm into your day. So after your dinner, going for a 10-minute walk around the block. In the morning, dancing while you do your breakfast. Yeah, I was gonna say while you did your teeth floss, while you do your breakfast works as well. And aiming for about 20 to 30 minutes of movement every day. Some people work better if they divide that in half, so some in the morning, some in the evening, or in little 5 to 10 minute blocks throughout the day can be really beneficial for your cortisol levels when you are just starting out. And the last thing I just want to mention, I bet you're like, thank you, you're finished, is reducing your exposure to toxins. So many products that we use in the house have got endocrine disruptors in that have been linked to hormonal problems and things like adrenal fatigue. So your healthcare, your skincare, your cleaning products, even your menstrual care products, have a look what's in them. And you don't need to do this all at once, but switching out toxic products, or look for the phrase fragrance or perfume in them. They don't have to disclose what ingredients are in there if they use that. So there could be tens to hundreds of ingredients that are going to be messing with your hormones. So it can be expensive to, swipe it all out, and clean products aren't really, they're starting to come up, but there's not tons of them on the market like there are with mass conventional products. So sometimes they can be a little expensive. So take your time, swap one thing out for the other, and I would always start with the things that you put directly on your skin, like moisturizer, foundation, serums, that kind of stuff. And then your hair. Remember, your skin is your biggest organ. Making sure you're sweating at least 3 times a week, that you're doing your dry brushing, lymphatic massage, everything that you can to help your body to detox is great. So if you follow all these tips, I promise you in 90 days, you are gonna feel back on track. You're gonna be sleeping better. You're gonna be having less hangry periods. You are gonna feel more energized when you wake up in the morning. You're gonna be better equipped to handle your stress. And I'm so excited for you. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions and I will answer them all. Again, I love to chat. I had a lot of information to give you. I'm sorry it's so long, but I didn't want to be, oh, I'll see you in part 3. I wanted to just give you all so you can get started today. Let me know if you'd like me to create a meal plan for adrenal fatigue and I will jump right on it. Thank you. Good luck.